Sage Steele is with us now, host of the Sage Steele Show podcast, former ESPN host. Welcome back to the program. I couldn't help but think, watching this at the White House today, that so many in the black community were ostracized and ridiculed for supporting President Trump over the past 4 years. Was today vindication?
You know, I've been asked that question a lot with the word vindication, and I hesitate to say yes because I was never doing it, you know, for anyone else or to try to prove anything to anyone else. I was just trying to be true to myself with my own opinions and talking about experiences that somehow then became really political. What was awesome, Leland, was to look around and to see hundreds and hundreds of people who look like me, who we had conversations today, and they said, you know, in the past I was afraid to talk about it. People who said their mothers have disowned them, who won't talk to them because they are supporters of Donald Trump. That hits me to the core. It brought tears to my eyes. There's still a lot of work to be done, but when I saw the president walk in with Tiger Woods next to him, that's a big deal, as you know. And then to look behind me with all the hundreds of people who are excited to just have their president there to celebrate Black History Month, celebrate Americans, it was a real moment for me. I'm so excited.
I want to drill down on this a little bit more, though, because you said a lot of people have asked me that question. I'll put the ego blow that I didn't come up with anything original to ask you to the side. But why do you think that is? That's where people have gone? What are they really asking, you think?
Yeah, I do think it's a fair question. I think I've just been maybe overwhelmed with what the last even year has brought. Last 8 months, when I decided to, you know, be a little more vocal with my support of President Trump and conservatives in America, it's because of what happened at ESPN by standing up after I was, you know, canceled and ostracized for having conservative values and canceled by Disney, you know, the company I had to stand up and sue. So it is a fair question. And yes, I guess there are parts of me that are like, okay, see, I wasn't crazy. I wasn't a bad person because I was more conservative, you know, because that's what they, meaning the machine and the left and the woke, and many of the media members, the vast majority, want you to feel. They didn't want us to feel like we felt today in that room with hundreds of people with my skin color saying, see, you aren't alone. They wanted us to feel alone, and we are not. So I guess there is some vindication there, but I just try to be so positive and not think about those losers.
Well, that's good advice, especially when they're in the past. I think my mother would have said something to me about that in high school. You said something about so woke. One person who personified woke during the last administration was Pete Buttigieg, Secretary Pete, Mayor Pete, whatever you want to call him. We noticed when we put this up on the screen a couple of weeks ago for our viewers that he deleted the pronouns out of his Twitter profile. And for so long, he, him, your Twitter pronouns was the way you proved you were virtuous and woke. Now he's in Michigan. He's thinking of running for Senate. Those are gone. He wasn't asked about that directly, but he was on the stage at the University of Chicago talking politics. Here's what he said about the Democratic Party.
And this is not about abandoning those values. It's about making sure we're in touch with the first principles that animate them. What do we mean when we talk about diversity? Is it caring for people's different experiences and making sure no one's mistreated because of them, which I will always fight for? Or is it making people sit through a training that looks like something out of Portlandia, which I have also experienced?
They giggle now, but they were the ones saying how important it was before. Do you think it is a sincere change of heart?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
AOC did the same thing. All of a sudden, the pronouns come out of the bio. Give me a break. You have exposed yourself actually a very long time ago. And what is the old adage? You know, it's not words, it's actions. And their actions have spoken very, very loudly over the last several years. Mayor Pete. It's not even worth trying to pronounce his last name. I'm sorry, I try to be nice, but I can't with people like that who have been divisive. Didn't he talk about roadways being racist? Like, get out of here. And by the way, can people be reformed and educated further and change and evolve? Absolutely. But I also think that we should proceed with caution with Mayor Pete. with Mark Zuckerberg, with Jeff Bezos, people who were divisive and actually had a massive impact on our country and being more divisive. They were part of the problem. So, yes, we welcome you. Let us help educate you now that you have apparently opened your mind to true diversity, which begins and ends with diversity of thought. But we have to proceed with caution, in my opinion, because of their track record, because of their actions.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.